So when you have a large number of the male gametes, even if one fails, another will reach. If the next fails, the next will reach. So to maximize the possibility of the fusion of the gametes, you need a large number of the male gametes. Okay, so a large proportion, however, will fail to reach the gamete and it will go waste. But in order to maximize the chances of the fertilization, you must have a huge number, a large number of the male gametes. Okay, so however, in the higher plants, what happens that the male gametes are actually carried inside the pollen grains. Okay, so pollen grains have the male gametes inside them, and pollen grains are carried by some way or the other by means of the water or air or some agencies like the with the help of the animals or by means of the human intervention. The pollen will reach to the stigma. Sometimes they are so close to each other that they will just uh, b- they are very nearby and they can very easily reach. However, in some cases it has to take a lot of efforts to reach, as the female gamete will be far away from the male gamete. So usually what happens in the higher plants that the pollen grains will be carrying the male gametes, and the pollen grains will actually will be carried through some agency, through some ways or methods to the female uh, flower, and this process is called as pollination. That means pollen grains will undergo pollination, and the details of this pollination we will see in the next chapter, at what are different modes of the pollination. But here you just have a brief overview that after the pollination, the pollens will reach to the stigma of the carpel or the pistil, and on the stigma these pollen grains will germinate, and after germination there will emerge a pollen tube. So the pollen tube will start growing out of the pollen grain, and the pollen tube will start germinating downwards and it will reach the ovule. Okay, then through this pollen tube, the male gamete will be carried towards the ovule, and eventually the male gamete is discharged near the egg inside the ovule, and this is how they are physically brought closer to each other and there can happen the fertilization. Let us take a very simple example of the pea plant. I think you all must have observed the pea plant. If you take a pea plant, it's a bisexual plant. That means it is a monoecious. That means the same plant, monoecious, yani same plant, a single plant will carry both the kinds of the reproductive structures. That means it will have the anthers as well as it will have the pistil and stigma. So here the self fertilization will happen. That means the anther will shed on the nearby stigma, which is very close to each other, and this is how the pollination will happen. But in certain other plants, the pollen may be carried several kilometers or even certain hundreds of the kilometers to reach to the stigma to cause the fertilization. So this is what we saw about gamete transfer in case of the lower plants, then in case of the higher plants. However, in case of the animals, if the animal is the monoecious or hermaphrodite, what will happen? They will exchange the gamete, as we have seen in case of the earthworms last year. If in case of dioecious animals, as is the case for most of the animals are not bisexuals, rather they are unisexuals. They have two separate genders, they have two separate opposite sexes available, one male organism, one female organism. So in case of the dioecious animals, these animals will be attracted to each other by some chemical cues called as pheromones or some behavioral changes, and this is how they will come closer and they will exchange the female the male will male will transfer or provide the um, gametes to the female, and the details of it we will see later in case of the human reproduction. So this is how the gamete transfer takes place in case of the plants. Now after the gamete transfer has happened, these gametes have to come close together and they have to fuse, the event which is called as fertilization. And we already have seen and discussed that the fertilization is the most vital event of the sexual reproduction. It is the most crucial event, and that is why we have three events. One prior to event is called as pre-fertilization, then the critical or crucial event of the fertilization, then the post-fertilization events. Now, what is fertilization? Fertilization is brought about by the process of syngamy. Syngamy means bringing together of the gametes. Okay, so syngamy and fertilization sort of दोनों both words are sort of synonymous to each other. दोनों का एक ही meaning होता है. They are used interchangeably. ठीक है. Sometimes there is a little bit technical difference in these two terms, which we will see later on in the next chapter. अभी आप ये समझ लीजिए सिंगैमी का मतलब कमिंग टुगेदर ऑफ द गैमीट्स. ओके, एंड दिस इज नथिंग बट द फर्टिलाइजेशन in general as we are saying it. So the process of syngamy actually brings about the zygote formation, and this gametes are the haploid. After syngamy you get the diploid zygote. However, there are certain exceptions, and this phenomena is called as parthenogenesis. There are certain exceptions that there is no fusion or no fertilization of the gametes. That means the female and male gametes will not fuse together. Rather, the development of the new organism will happen without fertilization. That means the female gamete itself will develop into a complete organism without the need of the male gamete. So these kind of certain interesting and exceptional events are there in nature also, and this is called as parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis phenomena is observed in rotifers. These are a group of animals. Okay, तो रोटीफरस में होता है, हनी बीज में होता है. हनी बीज में आपको ऑलरेडी पता है, हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं जेनेटिक्स के चैप्टर में कि किस तरह से हनी बीज में जो मेल हनी बीज होते हैं वो पार्थिनोजेनेसिस के थ्रू डेवलप होते हैं. ओके, अगर जो विदाउट फर्टिलाइजेशन जो होता है उस तरह से वर्कर्स या ड्रोन्स जो है डेवलप हो जाते हैं और उनका हैप्लॉइड सेट ही रह जाता है जीनोम का. हम ऑलरेडी जेनेटिक्स में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. Then there are certain lizards and some birds like for example turkey. They also show the phenomena of the parthenogenesis. Okay, so parthenogenesis is the absence of the fertilization, but it leads to the development of the organisms. Now this bringing together of the gametes actually can happen in two ways. Okay, so for syngamy or for bringing the gametes together, you need certain medium, you need certain media. Usually this medium is water for the external fertilization. That means these gametes which are motile, they will swim in the water and they will reach each other, they will find each other. Or if the female gamete is immotile, the male gamete is motile, so male gamete will swim along in the water and it will reach the female gametes. As we have seen for the many algae, for bryophytes, for pteridophytes, this is what happens. So such kind of the syngamy is called as external fertilization. External fertilization is seen not only in case of the plants but also in case of the many animals also. So many algae, fishes and amphibians show the syngamy in water, and this is also called as external fertilization because the male and female gametes meet outside the body of the organism in the external environment. For example, the fishes will release lot of the female gametes in the water. Simultaneously, the male gametes will also be released inside the water in the water. But here now you can imagine that if the male and female gametes are released far away, then what will happen? It will be relatively difficult for them to reach each other. So These release of the gametes should be close to each other. Moreover, this should be on the same time. That means the timing should be tuned. That is why a great synchrony is needed for the external fertilization. That means the both sexes, both genders, the males and females, should release gamete at the same time near to each other, so that the gametes can reach each other and they can fuse with each other. So great synchrony is needed. However, there is a very great disadvantage to the external fertilization, because these gametes are released outside in the environment, and these gametes cannot protect themselves against many predators. So these are vulnerable to the many predators. Many times these are eaten away by certain organisms, reducing the chances of the fertilization. So there are great disadvantages for the external fertilization. However, though it is a primitive method of the fertilization, it still continues in the lower organisms of the plants as well as in the animals. The next possibility is the internal fertilization. That means the gametes will not be released outside of the body, rather the gametes will meet each other. They will come in close physical proximity to each other inside the body of the organism. So what will happen, that one organism, usually the male organism, will somehow, it will transfer the male gametes inside the body of the female gamete, and the female gamete will uh, the female gamete will receive the motile male gamete. Motile gamete may again travel a little bit, it can swim a little bit inside the body fluid, it can reach the female gamete. This kind of the internal fertilization is observed in most of the higher animals, especially, rather most of the terrestrial organisms, okay, actually show the internal fertilization. That means the fertilization will happen inside the body of the organisms. So in case of the internal fertilization also, what happens, that a large number of the male gametes are needed. For example, a large number of the sperms in the animals are needed, a large number of the pollen grains are also needed. Why? Because these have to enter the body of the female, and they have to reach the female gamete. Okay, so if there are large number of the male gametes, then the chances of reaching to the female gamete will be maximized, because usually the female gamete is stationary or non-motile. However, because here in the internal fertilization, the syngamy is occurring inside the body of the female organism, the female gamete is relatively safer. Okay, it is not vulnerable to the predators, or it is not available for the outside environment. So uh, once the male gamete has entered the female body, the female body is destined to receive, the female gamete is destined to receive one or the another male gamete. That means here the need for large number of the female gamete gets reduced now. That means a low number of the female gametes are needed, or in other words, low number of the female gametes are low number of the eggs, only few eggs or a single egg is needed for the internal fertilization. So whenever there is internal fertilization, usually there will be one egg or very few eggs, and large number of the male gametes will be there. Maybe it is some plant, or maybe it is a case of animals. So while in case of the external fertilization, the ratio of the male gametes to the female gametes is in thousands. That means male gametes will be 1,000 times higher in number, or even several thousand times higher in number as compared to the